Okay, today's video is going to be a head-to-head comparison between the Sky Viper S1750 and the Eachine E58. Okay, on your left you've got the Sky Viper S1750 priced at around $44. On your right you have the Eachine E58 also priced at around $44. The difference when you look at the feature list comes at the bottom. The Eachine E58 has a 3.3 megapixel video camera, Wi-Fi smartphone app for recording video, foldable arms, and a kill switch button. The kill switch button in particular is important on brush quads because brush quads have a habit of burning out motors. That usually happens by running into obstacles, get hung up in grass, branches of trees, etc. Having a kill switch button and an accessible, easy to get to kill switch button is extremely important for brush quads. The Sky Viper uses a very standard 650 milliamp hour 1S 3.7 volt battery. It has a very basic battery tray as well. The Eachine also uses a 1-cell battery, but it comes in a really neat cartridge, and it's rated at 500 milliamps. Flight time is about 6 minutes and 45 seconds on the Eachine. You can push around 8 minutes out of the S1750. So for a bit longer flight times, the S1750 definitely has an edge over the Eachine. The presentation on the S1750 isn't as fancy, but it does work just fine. The Eachine has an on-off button, which is starting to become a more standard feature, but until recently was fairly new. Once you get it armed, you've got two very bright LEDs in front. They're actually white. You got a blue one on top, a red one in back, and a blue one on the bottom. What I also like about the Eachine is it has an arm button. I don't know why. There's just something fun about arming a quadcopter before you fly it. Don't ask me why. It just is. It's part of the overall fanciness and I guess extra features that you get out of the Eachine for the same price as you would from the S1750. So to power on and bind the S1750, you plug the battery in. The LEDs are going to start flashing. That means that it needs to bind to the controller. Just hit the power button on the controller and it'll start binding up. Once it's bound, the LEDs stop flashing. You've got green LEDs in front, red LEDs in back. Not as fancy, but still effective. And I do want to say that the Sky Viper controller is a bit better compared to the Eachine just because all the buttons are labeled auto, manual, launch, land, sensitivity, stunt button. It's all wrote out for you. The Eachine has no writing. It's just all like, there's 4 shoulder buttons. One of them is a kill switch. It's the upper right back button. So you want to know where it is, but you don't want to just mash on it by accident. Might not be a bad idea if you get this drone to label the buttons. So that's another edge I give to the Sky Viper. It's definitely more newbie friendly. Okay, now I'm just going to do a really quick flight comparison between the Sky Viper and the Eachine. Sky Viper, very simple, plug in the battery, bind the controller, you're good to go. The Sky Viper's best characteristic, it's like the most newbie friendly drone you can get because it's so durable. The props do not break. I've broken a lot of stuff on these Sky Vipers, but the props just flat out don't break. I don't know what you have to do to break a prop on a Sky Viper actually. But basically, the Sky Viper is kind of like comparing a American muscle car from the 60s to a European sports car. It's not as precise in its handling, but it's got so much torque on tap. It's like as fast as you're going to get out of a brushed quad running on a 1-cell battery. It just feels like it's almost like it's on roids. I mean, and maybe it doesn't really show so much in this video, but it's super agile. It's as fast as you need a quad to be. You can fly it indoors, you can fly it outdoors. You can feel totally comfortable once you get used to wind and the basically flying around obstacles. It will do pretty much whatever you want it to do. That was a land. I pushed the land button and that's what it does. So yeah, not so pretty, but you know, it is what it is. It works fine. It's just not as graceful as the E58. So now I'm just going to go jump straight to the E58 and get its arms unfolded, and we're going to take it for a quick flight. And I think what you'll notice right away is the E58, its real power is in its presentation. It's a show-off drone. It's the kind of drone where if you want to get other people interested in getting drones or flying drones, this is the one you get, because it's just flat out impressive to watch. For the price, it handles like a drone, like the Mavic actually. It doesn't have all the camera features, the anti-collision or the GPS, but just in its pure flying, it is so fun and so cool to watch. It's like the Terminator drone. Now you can see it's not as quick, it's not as agile as the Sky Viper, but what it lacks in speed and agility, it makes up for, to me, in its overall handling and presentation. It's just so cool to fly. And just look at its hovering. One feature it has that nobody else has ever really talked about is it has this air brake system in it, to where when you let off forward pitch, it does this little flare up and it basically stops the drone in midair. And it's not a feature I've ever had on a quad before, but let me see if I can do it here right now. Yeah, that was kind of okay. Maybe I can do it right. Even in reverse it does it. Where on most quads, when you let off on the stick, it keeps drifting. On this one, it just does that little flare up. And now there I had to keep it from crashing, but this drone. And look at its hovering. It's just locked in. It's like it has more going on than it actually has advertising going on. It's so fun, and it's just so impressive to watch. I think, like I said, this is a show-off drone. It's not as quick, it's not as agile, and it's not as durable. But as far as just very good handling characteristics, that little air brake feature that it has, so cool. And just watching it fly around is outstanding. So, yeah, for presentation, I gotta give the Eachine a pretty obvious advantage over the Sky Viper. And now I'm going to land it, see how it lands here. Yeah, quite a bit different from the Sky Viper. Okay, so let's just say you're in the market for one of these two drones, or maybe both of these drones, I don't know, but let's just say you're price shopping and you're doing like most people do. You go on Amazon and you look at what's available and the pricing. So first off, we're looking at the s1750. Price says $43.88, basically $44. Okay, so earlier I quoted the Eachine at $44. Well, on Amazon it's $78.99. So now you're going, well, this isn't a fair comparison because this drone clearly costs more. Well, it doesn't have to. That's the big advantage to buying outside of retail quads. The s1750 is packaged and a deal is made between major retailers and Skyrocket Toys for it to be on the shelf, as well as available online. And brick and mortar shops like Walmart, Target, Toys R Us do not appreciate it when online prices are lower than on the shelf prices. So basically, they can't get too cute as far as the pricing online, because it has to be pretty close to online to what it would be if you walked in the store and bought one. So the Eachine isn't hamstrung by this. This is a website called Banggood.com. There's an interesting story I just found out about Banggood. Banggood owns this Eachine brand. So if you're looking for the Eachine brand quadcopters, controllers, or should I say transmitters, goggles, etc., you will get the best deal possible off of Banggood.com. Now, I'm not endorsing Banggood.com. All I can say is that when I got into this hobby a year ago, all of the reviewers kept talking about Banggood. You can get it on Banggood, get it on Banggood. I'm like, seriously, I'm not buying from a website called Banggood. Really? It's a Chinese version of Amazon. But so many of these guys in the hobby who have been in it for a while and have a lot of experience kept recommending Banggood. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. So a few, like, I don't know, 8 months ago, I started ordering from Banggood, and I've had no problems from them. The only issue with Banggood is the shipping time isn't going to be as quick as it is from Amazon. Here it's showing shipping time of 3 to 7 business days. So usually you want to figure about a week and a half, at least, maybe 2 weeks. So you got to be patient when you order from Banggood, but it's so much cheaper. I mean, it's the difference of $78.99 from Amazon versus $45.99. And here's what I got. I opted for the 0.3 megapixel camera, and I got 2 batteries. So when it all adds up on paper, this is so much cheaper. You just have to wait a bit longer to get it. I mean, I don't want to, like I said, I'm not endorsing Banggood. I'm not getting any kind of kickback from them. I'm just trying to point out to save you some money. If you're interested, there's a way to get these lot of quadcopters cheaper than you would if you just stick to the main retail brands. And then something else I wanted to show. So you have options here where on Amazon you don't get any options. It's you have to get the 2.0 megapixel wide angle camera 720p. Well, that's a superior camera versus the 0.3 megapixel that I got. But if you actually want to try and use this Wi-Fi FPV, I feel like the 0.3 megapixel camera, because it's transmitting less data, gives you a better chance of getting low latency, real-time video. That was my decision for using it, or the reason behind my decision for using it. So let's just change this real quick to the 2.0 megapixel wide angle camera, and we'll leave it at 2 batteries. So you get 720p, 2 batteries for $54.99, okay? Let's look at Sky Viper's comparable drone, the V2450 FPV. Now, it does include goggles, but I've seen these camera goggles or phone goggles for like $5. I mean, they really just don't have much value right now. So I'm not gonna. And plus, you really don't want to use those. You don't want to use these for FPV. You trust me. I tried. It doesn't work. But anyway, $80 right now. This price has fluctuated a lot. Something I would suggest to a lot of people, anybody, is if you're trying to keep your budget down, to be patient. Keep these links in your favorites and just check on them every once in a while. Check Walmart.com as well. Check Target, check Toys R Us, because these Sky Viper prices have been fluctuating like crazy. Like, I saw this for around $60 at one point. $60 is more correct to the value of this quadcopter. I mean, in the end, ultimately, that is, as far as its feature set, 1S battery, brushed motors, 720p video, you shouldn't be paying more than $60. So I feel like right now, as it's priced right now, this is a bit too much, but it's just crazy to me. $54.99, same features all around, versus $80. You have to ask yourself, is it really worth it to buy off Amazon, or are you willing to try a different retailer like Banggood.com or GearBest or Just try some of the international options and save yourself quite a bit of money. Okay, so here's my final opinions on these two drones. Starting out with the Sky Viper. It's faster and more agile in flight. It's more durable, and that combination to me makes it a really good first drone. If you really want to learn how to fly a drone and bang it around, crash it a few times, maybe a lot of times, that's the drone to get. The S1750 is just a lot more rugged. The Eachine would probably be better as a second drone. It's more stable, it's more precise, and those are features you kind of learn to appreciate as you get more experienced. It looks better. I mean, that's subjective, but I think it's just definitely a better looking drone. And it has an onboard camera, and that camera may not be extremely impressive, but cameras seem to be a popular option on drones. So I feel like just I have to give the overall edge to the Eachine. But like I said, if you're new to quads, if you want a good quad to learn on, get the Sky Viper. If you're fairly experienced in quads, I think the Eachine E58 is pretty outstanding for the price. So that's all I've got for today. And if you have any comments or questions, go ahead and post them. Thanks for watching. Bye.